is to think that all this time, this has been hidden here, unknown to the general public.
A mystery bunker, a British detention center, and Gerajak prison. I thought I have uncovered everything that the island has to reveal, but Faisal has one more surprise.
Right, this is tombstone for leprosy patient.
Wait, so you mean there were leprosy patients here on the island?
Yes, here on the island.
Gerajak Island once served as a leprosy colony starting in the 1870s. Leprosy is a chronic disease that afflicts its victims with extreme skin lesions. The disease has affected mankind for over 4,000 years and was once thought to be highly contagious. Leprosy patients throughout Malaysia were deported to Gerajak out of a misplaced fear that they would infect the general population with their condition. The leprosy colony on the island was shut down to make way for Gerajak prison in 1969.
And it just really indicates to me that there is a lot more than meets the eye here on this island. Let's keep going, huh?
Right, let's go.
Gerajak Island. It's not the only place harboring secrets of the Imperial British in Malaysia. I'm heading back to the main island of Penang to track down a forgotten British fortress from World War II. For decades, the British strategy of defending Malaysia centered on a strong naval presence and coastal defenses overlooking important sea lanes. But on the 8th of December 1941, the Japanese Imperial Army invades over land instead, rendering many of the coastal defenses useless. Neighboring Singapore, then the crown jewel of the British Empire in Southeast Asia, falls to the Japanese in 1942. The entire event remains one of the greatest military blunders in British history. Here in southeastern Penang, on a hill called Batu Maung, sits a massive reminder of that unforgettable mistake.
Hidden behind this forest cover is a massive British fort designed to protect Penang Harbor. But ironically, its large cannons were never even used against a single enemy ship. I'm going in to find out more about this forgotten fortress.
This is Fort Penang. Completed in 1935, it took 9 years to construct and is the largest British fortress of its kind outside Europe. From 1941, the victorious Japanese converted it into a torture camp and terrorized prisoners of war and locals alike. The fort was abandoned at the end of the war in 1945, but is being looked after today by Johari Shafi, who restored the ruins into a museum in 2002.
The whole area is cover about 19.36 acre. And they spent 40 million pounds at that particular year to build this.
40 million pounds.
40 million pounds.
That was back then.
Back then.
I mean,
yes.
even today, that's a huge sum of money.
Yes, a huge money.
Not surprisingly, Fort Penang is armed to the teeth, with large caliber naval guns with a devastating range of up to 20 kilometers and an entire array of anti-aircraft batteries still poised for battle. But what I'm most curious about are the bunkers that help make the fort an impenetrable army base. Underneath the main fortress is an intricate series of underground chambers and tunnels that extend all the way out to the sea, more than 200 meters away. Johari has painstakingly repaired some of them, but the rest have not been explored since the end of the war.
This is one of the underground tunnels.
So this tunnel leads to the ammunition storage area?
Yeah, this is on your way to the chamber. It's about 9 meters or 30 feet
9 meters
underground.
30 feet. Oh, wow, look at this. And we're basically on a hill, so they had to kind of just dig into the hill, basically, right?
Okay, that is what we call ammunition hoist.
So they built this hoist pretty much like an elevator shaft as a means of kind of transporting these
Correct.
heavy bombshells up to the surface.
Yes. And then, yeah, this is emergency route.
You gotta crawl through, right?
Yeah.
Once you get to the end.
Yes.
There's a ladder and you'd have to climb through that.
Up there. It's about 9 meters.
Oh man, going in like that.
Yes. You got to crawl.
So here I am, scrunched up. Basically, my head is hitting the top of the tunnel here. As you can see, there's not much room at all. This is definitely not the place where you'd want to be hanging out. Hey, so Johari, you were telling me this tunnel can actually fit up to 200 men?
Yes. This is one of the shelter to protect the soldier. If explosion happen here.
Okay.
So they lock themselves inside.
I mean, they would probably just be in single file, just
Yeah.
one after the other. As I'm coming through, I can see these air ventilation holes. They're spaced about 2 feet apart. So you can imagine just the amount of engineering thought that went into building this place. Oh, man. It just keeps going. My goodness. All right, I think I'm at the end here. So I'm rounding the corner, and here's the exit. Oh, wow. That is amazing. It's basically one big circle I did.
Yeah.
Creating a circular bomb shelter that allowed soldiers to enter and exit at different points is just another example of the ingenuity of the engineers who built Fort Penang. Most of the fort I've seen so far are open to the museum's guests. What I really want to do is to check out the parts of it that are still left unexplored.
So what is this?
This is one of the largest and the deepest underground tunnel ever have in this port. This link to the submarine landing bay below there. You got to crawl 200 meters from this complex to the sea.
So I understand that the tunnel...
According to Johari, the tunnel has long been sealed off due to safety concerns. I'm even told not to explore it as it's usually infested with venomous snakes. But my curiosity is getting the better of me.
Check this out. A tunnel going through. So I came here and was exploring. We've got the corner. And it's very much like the other ammunition shelter that we were in. We've got the same tunnel where soldiers can be lined up in the event of attack. But this was the incredible find. Here is the ammunition room. Check this out. Here would have been like the legs, and you can see where the racks would have been fitting through, and then the shells would have been placed on that. This is all intact. Look at this, look at this. A while ago we saw the opening, but here we can see the front part of it, basically the face. So I imagine that the shells would have come out of this room here, been transported on some type of rolling device. This is probably where they would have gotten a couple soldiers, lifted it up onto here, or somehow hoisted it onto here, and from here would have been taken up to be loaded. Check out that bat. I mean, we've got like a little colony of bats down here. They're probably not used to having visitors. All right, made it out alive. Up there, Johari was telling me that 50% of this place is still unexplored. And just imagine, 1,500 men used to man this fortress. So I'm bound to uncover something along this trail.
Besides the large naval guns mounted at the top of Fort Penang, the British installed other defenses facing the main harbor of Penang that included light machine guns and anti-aircraft batteries. I'm going to try and find remnants of these smaller defenses that are now lost to the jungle.
I found something else. Right over here, we've got a pillbox that's still pretty much intact. Reinforced concrete that would easily be able to withstand a grenade explosion as well as indirect blasts. I mean, look how thick this wall is. Here we've got an opening, 180 degrees, and they could set up a heavy machine gun and pretty much mow down anything in its path. Now over here, there's a smaller opening where a rifleman would have been stationed. Just imagine if you were trying to take out this pillbox. You would approach at the exposed flank of the machine gun, here with your grenade, take out your pin, throw up, toss your grenade into there, explosion. So it is very important to have this opening where a rifleman could pick off any attackers.
The bulk of Fort Penang's defenses are aimed towards the sea in anticipation of a seaborne attack. The British also built pillboxes right on the sea's edge to deter amphibious landings by enemy troops. With any luck, I'll find one of them.
This is quite a large opening, giving us a 180-degree view of the sea. I would suspect that this is the first line of defense in the defense perimeter, starting here and then backtracking up the hill that I just came down from. Back then, when the British forces would have been using this particular spot, there would have been a little community of fishermen. But here today, we've got little houses just kind of set up along the water here.